Since months ago, there have been rumors circulating on the internet about Kanye West and Ty Dolla's upcoming collaborative album. After all of the hoopla and confusion surrounding the project, I don't think people realize the significance of the release. When will it release? With Ty Dolla revealing the full 18-song track list for his upcoming collaborative album with Kanye, the internet went wild, with some people enjoying the fact that we are finally getting confirmation that Y's new record is coming sooner rather than later, and that it will be even crazier than anybody could have imagined. About to witness the reappearance of Kanye West. When it comes to the possibility of this Kanye and Ty signing album, some people were afraid of the mere idea of new hip-hop music, but others were worried about the potentially disastrous effects it may have on not only Ty or Kanye's careers, but the hip-hop industry as a whole. Regardless of your feelings toward Kanye West, as I've stated in other videos, this isn't just maybe the most significant album he will ever release, it might even turn out to be the most significant album of all time. Unlike albums like 808 in the past, all of hip-hop has witnessed significant change recently, and not for the reasons you may expect. Rather than being a landmark release for its influence or icon status, heartbreak, or My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, the Ye Dollar Sign album will mark a turning point in hip-hop and really in music as a whole for something a little more significant now that we're trying to figure out why the industry is afraid of what. With the release of this new album by Kanye West, we will need to be aware of the covert comeback that Kanye has been carrying out behind closed doors for some time. If you're not familiar with it, allow me to explain. In 2012, Ye was gradually brought back into the spotlight in culture. The public first realized this during Kanana's Super Bowl halftime performance, when she sang songs that Kanye was either on or produced, like All the Lights Run This Town. This is because people realized that, no matter how divisive or controversial some of his actions may be, his influence is simply too vast to ever erase. Or have my money, and from this point on, Kanye's quiet return would only become more and more audible until we were at the current point. Following this, Kanye West would receive a production credit on Ty's estate sale song, Heaven to Me, marking the first time Ye was involved in a song. Any new music release and the song's incredible reception set up the undeniable influence he had on Travis Scott's Utopia, the biggest rap album of 2023. From writing and production credits to songs that Travis Scott just naturally gifted, everyone noticed that Utopia was rife with Kanye West's musical DNA. After Travis, Ye was introduced as a special guest at his Circus Maximus concert in Rome, and in front of 60,000 people, he thanked him for influencing not just his most recent album but also the entirety of his career. It was evident that, despite the industry's distaste for Kanye West, artists continue to work with him, and beyond this, people still want to see more of him. If you don't believe me, Kanye currently has more monthly listeners on Spotify than at any other point in his career. In 2023, he ranked as the 13th most popular artist on the platform. As a result of his understated but successful return, which brought Kanye's musical influence to the forefront, we are. Now that he's finally reached the point where he will make his comeback known to both his supporters and detractors, the question that remains to be answered is how Kanye will approach this next phase, given that many are anticipating a more intimate speech. Record in which he tackles all of the upheaval that has occurred in his life over the previous several years. Based on what we know Kanye is going to do with this project, he will take a slightly different turn, and this is the best course of action for him to take. This is why you shouldn't wait. Don't misunderstand me from the main track vultures on this album. We are aware that Kanye won't be pretending that the last few years never happened, but despite his unbridled honesty and willingness to say anything, he understands that in order to have a successful comeback, he must provide listeners with music that isn't inherently divisive, but rather music that's unquestionably fun, which is precisely why he has chosen to collaborate with a musician with as colorful a reputation as Ty Dolla from the tracks we already know will be on the album, such as the eagerly anticipated New Body, a lively club banger with nothing at all controversial about it. Observe Ty performing songs from the album in various European nightclubs, and with producers like Metro Boomin and Timbaland confirming their participation, it's likely that a large portion of this record will now take the same route, heightening the spectacle of what this album could potentially contain. Be the speculated property that comprises Playboy Travis Scott Cardiac. The possibility of this Ye Dollar Sign record is made even more exciting by Freddie Gibbs, Lil Baby Young Thug, and Steve Lacy. This album is being made for speakers and is intended for a broad audience, and if these hits live up to the hype, everyone will delight. We will be hearing a lot more from Kanye West soon, as evidenced by the most recent sample of the album's intro track. Kanye's flip in the Backstreet Boys' famous Backstreet Is Back sample will ultimately represent both his comeback and this exciting new chapter in his career, while the album's spectacle will go beyond the showy manufacturing and well-known partnerships. Although it's obvious that this won't be the album's main focus, Kanye will be unveiling himself for the first time since the period, and according to the tracklist and snippets we've heard, this will end up being one of its most significant and talked about aspects when it comes out. Although Kanye West won't delve as deeply into his personal life as he has on an album like Ye, the record's 18 tracks will feature some of his most candid and divisive ideas. This is due to his performance on a snippet of a track called New Body, as well as his verse on Vulture's album From Beginning to End. While Ty's collaboration abilities, features, and production will help this album reach the top of the charts and the middle of the clubs, it will be what Kanye does that listeners find most intriguing or captivating. Kanye's charisma and attitude will paint us a picture of where he is in his life. More harmful, depending on the path he actually takes. However, one thing to keep in mind is that, judging from the track listing to the amazing form Kanye was in the most recent teaser, we can see that he's wearing a shirt with the German flag's eagle on it. While this might cause some, based on what we have heard and seen about this album thus far, I believe this is Kanye's way of winking and really teasing the media, especially because the record's title is probably going to be named Vultures, which raises concerns that Ye is headed down a path we don't want to see him on. And I'd guess that he is. Using this branding to both slightly capitalize on the controversy and brand the album with the eagle as a symbol of strength and perseverance. As a result, you can hear the bravado of Ye with the godly melodies of Ty throughout the production, which Kanye was involved in, as well as producers like Metro Boomin. With Hit Boy lending a hand as well, it's safe to say that we will be getting an album jam-packed with hits, and one that might wind up being among the most thrilling rap albums of the entire decade thus far. Everyone is anticipating this album because of its potential of listening to fresh Kanye tracks. Ty Dolla's untarnished reputation is attracting the attention of the general public and possible sponsors of this record, which has been the glue that has held everything together. The power behind this is Ty Dolla's sign, but the clarity is that Ye won't now cause another PR disaster. Album that is purging its reputation. Even if Title Sign is an artist, the record has still had trouble getting off the ground for months, both in terms of finding a distributor and a place to play it for a period of time. However, given the kind of clout Kanye's name has, this should come as no surprise. The reason I bring up Ye and Ty's struggle to release this album for months is to show that while the major labels and players have not taken a stand, the fact that really nobody has ever said a single bad thing about this has not been enough for major companies, labels, and publications to overlook their fear of Kanye West. Possibility with the record. Whether you love Kanye West or not, this is a pretty positive thing for the music industry, and here's why. Before the current era of music that we are living in, the duo was still free to build the vision that they wanted to on their own. In decades past, if you weren't a part of one of the main labels in the industry, you would have absolutely no chance of becoming a successful musician. It was that simple. In order for an artist to be heard by the world, you had to be a part of a label and follow their rules. To get your voice heard, even with someone like Kanye West, who has been actively blackballed from their networks and isn't even affiliated with the major label system. This includes having their media outlets cover them in limited capacities and even being prohibited from using any of the Explore options on major platforms like Apple Music. It's a statement about the power an artist has in the modern era that, even with all the odds against them, they can still release a project with global cultural significance, as seen by the fact that Kanye West is still a megastar and more. The fact that he is still regarded as one of the major players in an industry that despises him despite all of the noise and factors that would have made him a blackball decades ago will make him more popular than most other artists on the planet ever, and it will ultimately demonstrate something to everyone must comprehend right now. If Kanye and Title Sign are able to bring this album to the masses, make it a spectacle, and provide us with hits that rule the charts, it will have numerous significant effects that could potentially change not just hip-hop, but the music industry forever. The public, despite the fact that he has been banned from all of the major music industry players, including the second largest streaming service, Apple Music, This will serve as irrefutable evidence that the role that major labels play in the modern music industry has truly declined to an all-time low. While the independent music scene has been expanding for some time now, the industry has always ignored it as something too tiny to ever take seriously. This is the time when any artist, no matter how big or small, hated or loved, can find success regardless of what the powers that be want to dictate. Impact their operations. But with a celebrity like Kanye West not only shattering stereotypes about the enormous influence independent artists can have, but also demonstrating that you can still succeed even if you are barred from all the avenues that the business advises you to take. For better or worse, that will be an unquestionably significant cultural moment that will reveal the true power that contemporary artists possess. For this reason, the industry is currently terrified, and as Kanye wraps up this album, he is attempting to free other musicians like Lil Durk from their label contracts, and if he can truly impact the industry in this way, it will be incredibly freeing for artists everywhere to witness how this record will upend the market, as it will demonstrate that anyone can introduce their own visions given the correct conditions. When we look at Kanye's next album with Ty Dolla, with its release being unavoidably soon in the future as the industry freaks out about the return of Kanye, this could even show major artists that maybe they should break away from the major label system as a whole. With that said, I'm simply going to kick back and enjoy the performance. However, I need you to let me know what you think will happen with Kanye's upcoming album, including Ty Dolla and West. Are you looking forward to the record? How do you think it will sound? If you can't wait to see what happens, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I believe it will have an impact on Kanye's legacy and the industry as a whole.